Good morning, everybody. It's an honor and a privilege to be here this morning to talk to y'all about bluegrass music. I am a bluegrass artist, and bluegrass is a niche market, but it has a dedicated worldwide fan base. And it is a very traditional, a uniquely American musical form. It's the culmination of Scotch-Irish fiddle tunes, gospel music, and African American blues, brought together by a man named Mr. Bill Monroe from Rosine, Kentucky, who played the mandolin in an aggressive style that had never been heard before. In its most traditional form, bluegrass music is played acoustically, and it is passed down from one generation to the next, orally. So younger musicians will sit at the feet of an older musician and learn how to play that way. So for starters, I want to sing you a song about somebody who did just that. His name was Gene Boyd, and he was known as the Fiddlin' Barber from Bristol. And he had a huge impact on the global bluegrass community from his little bitty barber shop on State Street in Bristol, Virginia. He taught lots of folks how to play, and he would bring young people to the jam sessions around Tri-Cities, Tennessee, Virginia area when their parents didn't have time to take them around to the jams. And this song is a tribute to him. This is called The Barber's Fiddle, and I wrote this with my friend Linda Dawson. Mr. Gene's barber shop, State Street, the Virginia side. I walked in hand with Pa, 5 years old and terrified. Mr. Gene smiled at me, helped me up into the chair. In the mirror I could see an old red fiddle hanging there. The gray-haired barber caught my gaze, said that's a tale I'd like to tell, of a young man who came in one day with a fiddle and a dream to sell. He tried to live out on the road, thought music was where he belonged. Well, it broke his heart and it broke his soul, made him sing a different song. Fiddle up high, fiddle down low, fiddle most everywhere I go. I'd fiddle until my dying day, if I could make a life on a fiddler's pay. He sat in this very chair, scared of what his folks would say. His hope was gone, his pockets bare. They warned him it would end this way. He returned to start anew, no money for a shave and trim. He asked, would this fiddle do? Said it wasn't any use to him. Fiddled up high, fiddle down low, fiddle most everywhere I go. I'd fiddle until my dying day, if I could make a life on a fiddler's pay. Mr. Gene swept the floor, spun me round and said, you're done. I begged him to tell me more. What happened to the wayward son? Turns out it was Mr. Gene hung his fiddle up that day and now I'm living out his dream because he taught me how to play. I fiddle up high, I fiddle down low, I fiddle most everywhere I go. I'm gonna fiddle until my dying day, if I can make a life on a fiddler's pay. Fiddle up high, fiddle down low, fiddle most everywhere I go. I'm gonna fiddle until my dying day, if I can make a life on a fiddler's pay. Living my life on a fiddler's pay. Thank you. We date the genesis of bluegrass music back to 1946, December of 1946 to be exact, when a young man from North Carolina named Earl Scruggs joined Bill Monroe in the Bluegrass Boys on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry to play the five-string banjo in a way that hadn't been heard before, but has now come to be known as Scruggs style. It's a three-finger syncopated banjo roll. And it was the last element that Mr. Monroe needed in his band for his band to just become intergalactic, actually. So people just loved that percussive sound of the banjo. And so in Mr. Monroe's band, Mr. Monroe was playing the mandolin, Earl Scruggs on the banjo, Lester Flatt on the guitar, Cedric Rainwater on the upright acoustic bass, Chubby Wise on the fiddle. And that is a traditional bluegrass band. So that's what went out over the air that night in 1946, and it was heard around the country on Clear Channel 650 WSM, and people went crazy over it. They loved it, and they started emulating Mr. Monroe's sound, and that's when a new genre was born. And Mr. Monroe had named his band the Bluegrass Boys after his home state of Kentucky. And so that's what the new genre was called, bluegrass music. Until the 1950s, bluegrass music was considered part of country music. It was under that umbrella. But then rock and roll came along, and the country musicians decided to electrify to try to keep up. Because they weren't selling many records when Elvis came along. Well, Mr. Monroe said, "No, sir, my music is acoustic. It's always been acoustic. We're going to stay acoustic." And we did. And so bluegrass music kind of waned in popularity until the folk boom that came at the end of the 50s into the 1960s. Bluegrass music has been called folk music in overdrive because a lot of it's played really fast. My friend, award-winning banjo player and celebrated bluegrass DJ, Mr. Ned Luberecki, says that bluegrass music is happy, upbeat music with miserable, depressing lyrics. And it's true. Even now, bluegrass music doesn't shy away from the darker side of life. After World War II, bluegrass musicians took their music with them out of Appalachia, where the music was born, and to places like New Jersey, into Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, as they were looking for work. The music also was heard around the world on armed forces radio and gained lots of popularity. There was a time in Japan where bluegrass musicians were considered rock stars, or on the same level as rock stars, which is very cool. And it was also brought to Minnesota, which is where I'm from originally. My parents heard bluegrass music at the Butterfield Threshing Bee in Butterfield, Minnesota. And I was about 5 years old at that time. And it wasn't long after that my dad took up the mandolin, and my mom already played guitar. They got with another couple and started a band called Prairie Grass. And when I was about 8 years old, I started asking them if I could get fiddle lessons. At first I said, "I want to sing in your band." And they said, "Well, you have to play something. That's how bluegrass music works. Everybody plays something in the band." And I said, "You don't have a fiddle." So I'll play fiddle. And to this day, I feel like the fiddle chose me because of that. But learning how to play this little bitty fiddle here changed my life. It has taken me around the world. I literally have friends all over the world because of bluegrass music. It brought me to East Tennessee State University to study bluegrass music in their bluegrass old time and roots music program, the oldest program of its kind anywhere. And it brought me here to Coffee County, met my husband because of this instrument. Now we have a beautiful daughter, Romy, and who won't let me show her how to play this instrument, but maybe someday. Anyway, I'm going to do a fiddle tune for you. This is called the Carroll County Blues. I want to close out with this song, and as we are recording this, there is great conflict in our world, and the darkness is deepening, but I want to encourage you to let your light shine, because even the smallest light can illuminate the darkness and bring hope to many. And this is a song about just that. This is called Make Us to Shine. And thank you all again. Make us to shine like the stars in your beautiful heaven, Lord. Blameless and pure, reconciled and forgiven. Shine like the stars in your beautiful heaven, Lord. We all have far to go. Something in us is searching. Teach us to heal. So many around us are hurting. Humbly we ask you, show us the path to love, and make us to shine like the stars in your beautiful heaven, Lord. blameless and pure, reconciled and forgiven, Lord. May we be worthy in your sight to illuminate the night. Make us to shine like the stars in your beautiful heaven, Lord. We all have different ways of seeing ourselves in your likeness. Open the veil, show us your face through the darkness. May all we are part of dance to the heart of love, and make us to shine like the stars in your beautiful heaven, Lord. Blameless and pure, reconciled and forgiven, Lord. May we be worthy in your sight to illuminate the night. Make us to shine like the stars in your beautiful heaven, Lord. Make us to shine like the stars in your beautiful heaven, Lord. Thank you.